Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to SDCERS 2023 Annual Membership Meeting. I'm Cynthia Queen, Member Services Director at your San Diego City Employees Retirement System, and it is great to see you all in person and to have said hello to so many of you. As you know, SDCERS is the defined benefit retirement system for the City of San Diego, the Unified Port District, and the San Diego County Regional Airport Authority. Hi, airport members. We have a wonderful group of folks here today, retirees, some beneficiaries, which makes me very happy. We have folks from City of San Diego, Airport Authority, maybe a port person's hiding out there. We've got folks who work here from the library, public utilities, urban forestry, very cool, police department, debt management, development services. I said library, right? Yeah. Library folks. So a good cross-section here, and that makes me really happy that so many of you came. And each year we hold this annual meeting to provide an overview of the excellent governance and security of your retirement system. And we appreciate you coming so much, and in order to keep you engaged and to reward you for coming, we will throw in a few trivia questions through this. And if you even attempt to get the answer right, and especially if you get the answer right, we have Halloween candy because wonderful holidays approaching. So I want to make sure you know who to look for. Over here, he's eager, he's ready with his, we have Anders Norman. Now, in addition to being one of the experts on our investment team, he has children and is capable of handing out candy. Additionally, we have Jamie Hamrick, longtime veteran star of our investments team, also an expert at candy. And Demetrios Haldez in the back, also star member of our investment team, who will be less likely to give you the candy and might want to keep it for himself, but he will try if you're nice. Whoop, I did it too fast, Jess. You told me to let you do it. Okay. So the theme of this year's meeting is we nurture the seeds of retirement so you can enjoy the harvest. SDCERS, did you know, was formed by some employees about 100 years ago. The reason your retirement system will last longer than our lifetimes is because of very careful long-term planning and making sound decisions along the way. Today, you're going to be hearing from our Board of Administration President, Paul Kaufman, who'll be up in a minute, our CEO, Greg Rodemaker, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Marcel Voorhees-Rossman, Chief Investment Officer, Karina Coleman, and me. If you can please hold your questions until the end, we will stay after the program to talk with you up here. The event, as you can see, is being recorded, and it will be available on the SDCERS website once production is complete. Before we get started, I'd just like to quickly introduce some special guests in the audience. Over here we have Joe Flynn, long-time important person, former trustee of the board, and just a person who has kept track. He never misses a meeting. He's always keeping track of things. We appreciate you and a great source of information. Additionally, where did Ron go? Ron Moskowitz, thank you. Ron Moskowitz, one of the longtime leaders of the Retired Fire and Police Association and the Retiree Issues Task Force, also a wonderful source of information. Thank you for being here. And we have one of our board members here, Chris Brewster. Hi, Chris. Also an active member of the retiree groups. And I also just wanted to point out, because a fun retiree member here, Helen Phillips, who does some wonderful work with the Retired Employees Association Food Drive. Also Park and Rec guru, and also puts on really fun games at the REA Christmas party, holiday party, so you should come.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, now, thank you for all of that. I will now turn it over to our board president, Paul Kaufman.
Thank you for the introduction, Cynthia. That was very nice. I'm the SDCERS board president. This is my second year, so I probably will burn off or retire at the end of this end of semester, and we'll appoint somebody else to the president. But on behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome and thank you for coming today. It means a lot that you took the time to show up today and join us in this presentation. As board president, I rarely get to meet our members, so this for me is a special day. The theme of this year's meeting is, as Cynthia alluded to, we nurture the seeds of your retirement so you can enjoy the harvest, which for me invokes mental images of fruits and vegetables straight from the garden, Some of the SDCERS highest-ranking farmers are about to demonstrate how seriously SDCERS takes this role as fiduciary and how we ensure your retirement is protected. Thank you very much for this analogy. But first, I want to recognize a few SDCERS staff members who retired this year. First is Barry Woods in the Retired Health Division. Second is Cheryl Wilson in the Disability Retirement Division. Some of you may have worked directly with her. And of course, David Bond, the former head of our SDCERS IT division. Which leads me to another upcoming staff retirement. Unfortunately, Deputy CEO Marcel Voorhis Rossman will be retiring this January. Both Greg and I have tried to talk her out of it, but she's determined to start the next chapter of her life and will be sorely missed. So welcome to your retirement. Now, before I turn the mic back over to staff, it's my pleasure to make the announcement that many of you, or most of you, have been waiting for at next week's board meeting. SDCERS staff will be recommending that the board approves the annual supplemental benefit and Corbett settlement payments to eligible retirees for this year. So we're looking forward to approving that. So it's wonderful to see our members here in person today, and thank you again for coming, and I hope you enjoy the experience today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. I just want to make sure you folks in the back heard the announcement because you were asking me beforehand. Annual supplemental benefit is recommended for being paid. Got it. Okay, now I would like to introduce our CEO, Greg Rodemaker.
Thank you, boy. Wow. But no, really, thanks for coming today. It is really special to see having everybody come out, especially in person. It's great to see everybody. And you know that the SDCERS teams loves having you come out, me especially. And you know your SDCERS team really loves helping its membership. And we really love helping the membership because we like to help you achieve benefit security. Now, benefit security is really kind of like having, the feeling of financial security during your retirement years. But more importantly, benefit security is having financial security during your retirement years. And it's a lot of hard work on your part, serving our community, saving for retirement. It's a lot of hard work. So our annual membership meeting theme this year is we nurture the seeds of retirement so that you can enjoy the harvest. And when our communications manager, Jessica Taylor, came up to me and said, hey, Greg, we're going to have this as our theme this year, I was really excited because I was like, that really is a great metaphor for how we service your account. From the first time you plant the seed of your retirement and making that first contribution into the retirement plan, how SDCERS helps those contributions grow, and to finally delivering those retirement benefits to you during your retirement years. Now, I was thinking a little bit, not everybody in this room is from here, but nearly everybody's from somewhere else. So my father's family immigrated to the United States in the 1800s from Prussia, which is today northern Germany, some in that kind of area. And they went to Ellis Island, and they joined the westward migration from New York to the west in a covered wagon. Now, the west back then was Minnesota, and where my pioneering family scratched out a farming homestead along the Red River near the town of Kent. And that really got me thinking that farming really is a lot like administering your retirement benefit, because it takes dedication each and every day. It takes special knowledge. It takes a willingness to weather the storms and the droughts, and the ability to anticipate difficulties and the skill to prepare for the worst as you hope for the best. So SDCERS core values, our farmer's almanac, if you will, is really our guiding principles as we administer your retirement account. And focusing on the highlighted one, integrity, today, I was thinking about a great question for me to answer is, why is integrity important to you as we administer your account? So if we look up integrity in the dictionary, we find integrity is upholding a moral code of values, a lack of corruption, and a foundation upon which to build relationships and trust. Now, my father instilled a very strong sense of integrity when he was raising his family. He taught us to do the right thing. And he said, more importantly, do the right thing when nobody's looking. And he liked to say that wisdom is knowing the right path to take, and integrity is taking that path. Now, 20 years ago, the city and SDCERS knew the right path to take with regards to funding the plan and ensuring your benefit security. However, they did not take that path. A series of funding agreements, decisions between the city and SDCERS to increase employee benefits while lowering the city payments into the retirement plan resulted in a City of San Diego pension crisis. The pension crisis rolled into town when the city did not adequately disclose the retirement obligations in a wastewater debt bond issuance offering. And this is a real serious matter. The Securities Exchange Commission, as you know, is the SEC, and the U.S. Attorney's Office opened investigations. The city lost its credit rating, and the city was unable to borrow in the municipal bond market. This brought capital projects to a halt, including critical water and sewage projects at the time. In response, the city created a pension reform committee, and in their 2004 report, recommendations resulted in a ballot proposition approved by the voters, with the city no longer being allowed to delay paying the retirement system, shortening the time for the city to bring the retirement system to 100% funded, no funding agreements between the city and the retirement system, and significant changes to the SDCERS board with all new board members. The pension crisis caused key city officials to resign or retire. This includes the mayor, the city auditor, the deputy city auditor, the city manager, the assistant city manager, the deputy city manager, the treasurer, the executive services director, and numerous other management level staff. The city attorney, an elected position, sues the city for conflict of interest and to roll back those pension benefit increases. The city attorney also sues SDCERS for the city attorney to become an SDCERS board member and serve as its general counsel. The joint investigations by the Securities Exchange Commission and the U.S. Attorney's Office resulted in felony conflict of interest charges being filed against SDCERS board members and staff. Several SDCERS board members and the retired administrator at the time, was not me, and general counsel resigned their positions. The pension crisis destroyed the city and retirement system's reputation and spurred significant negative national media coverage that still taints coverage today. The city attorney who sued the board lost in court and was not reelected. Federal and state indictments were dismissed in 2010 after the Supreme Court ruling in the Lexington case, but not before careers were destroyed and personal lives destroyed. But after every winter, there is a spring. Following the pension crisis destruction, positive growth began. The city started a pension reform era to reduce benefits. The city began paying their employer contributions timely, in full, and without question. The city made substantial additional employer contribution payments to improve the retirement system's funding status. In 2005, a new board took over SDCERS, including Joe Flynn, and they made it their mission to bring integrity back into the retirement system. They started by revoking the city's funding agreements, hiring a new management team, and began the long, arduous task of rebuilding a strong governance structure. The fruits of their labor live on today in the book of SDCERS Charters, Policies, and Rules. This 419-page of good governance documents shows how SDCERS administers your retirement account. And as SDCERS is committed to transparency, it's available on our website, along with supporting board materials which govern it. The board also began to plant the seeds to grow the plan funding integrity. An important tool is the SDCERS funding objectives, which provide guidance as we work to bring your retirement plan to 100% funding. The 4 funding objectives, as shown on the screen, are benefit security, which is really the ability to pay all the retirement benefits when they are due, intergenerational equity, so that benefits are funded when you provide service to the community, stable and predictable costs to help our members and employers budget, and cost sustainability, the ability of employers to make their contributions to the retirement system. And we understand it's most important to balance these objectives because tipping the balance too much to one objective can jeopardize our ability to deliver your monthly retirement benefits. It's important to note the California Constitution protects one funding objective above all others: benefit security, by ensuring SDCERS' primary duty of loyalty is to you, our SDCERS members. SDCERS has been working with its actuarial expert to improve benefit security of the plan by bringing integrity back to plan funding. Like a farmer planting a small tree today, knowing it will take a long time before it bears fruit, the board has taken action over the years since the pension crisis to change the long-term funding rules used by the plan actuary. Since the pension crisis, the SDCERS board has strengthened the funding of the plan, assuming you will live longer and successive generations will live longer still. Strengthen the plan funding by establishing a 6.5% annual investment return expectation to plan for the worst and hope for the best. Strengthen the plan by not allowing the money in the trust to fund increased pension benefits without being 100% funded. Strengthen the plan by implementing a separate short-term interest rate for drop accounts and limiting the rate not to exceed SDCERS' 6.5% long-term investment expectation. Strengthen the plan by reducing the number of years the city, the port, and the airport have to bring the plan to 100% funded. These efforts to bring integrity back to the retirement system are resulting in a healthy funding plan where the majority of costs are funded by the SDCERS investment portfolio. You could say SDCERS is a profit center for the city, the port, and the airport. SDCERS has over $10 billion in the bank as a funding source for your retirement benefits. And over the past 10 years, SDCERS investment portfolio has provided the majority of the funding for plan benefits, or approximately $6 billion. Today, our pension plan's funding status is considered healthy, with a solid strategy to attain 100% funding over a reasonable period of time. The SDCERS investment portfolio and funding plan are in good shape to keep our retirement system in good health to make your monthly benefit payments in full and on time. SDCERS benefit security promise can be found in our mission statement, which is to deliver benefits accurately and timely and ensure the safety, growth, and integrity of the trust funds. You rightly expect those retirement benefits to be in your bank account on time in the correct amount. And at the end of each month, you trust SDCERS will deliver the money as it was promised. This is our mission-critical effort each and every day, to nurture the seeds of retirement so that you can enjoy the harvest. And if I could leave you with one final thought today, it is that you are very important to us. Thank you.
Thanks. Excellent. All right, we're all paying attention. And now is your chance for some Halloween candy. Okay? Ba-da-da-da-da. All right. I want you to name one of SDCERS' core values. 6, 7. Okay, go. I see Helen. Integrity.
Sustainability.
That was very close. Say it again. Customer service. Sustainability is, it's in there somewhere. It means that, yep, okay. Those are, okay, this was good. Let's do a couple more. Just throw out anything. The candy's coming. Get transparency. All right, let's hear. Oh, we can help you cheat right here. Look at this. Customer service, accountability, professionalism. I always have to work on that one. Fiduciary and integrity. Excellent. You think we should have one more? Let's go for 6. Transparency. I was trying to pretend like it was invisible. It's transparent. Okay. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, how many public retirement systems exist in the United States? I thought this was interesting. The one that really matters to you is SDCERS, but, you know, if you were in conversation, anybody want to shout out a guess? Got a B over here for over 5,000. A, okay, all right, let's see what it is. B, candy over here, but also for the person who had the other answer, candy for participation. Just make sure you raise your hand so you get your candy. Good job. Did you get the flavor you want? Okay, good. See, pensions are fun. All right, which country has the world's largest pension fund? See, I thought it would have been, I hear all those guesses. This one totally stumped me. You ready? Japan. See, look, dinner conversation tonight. I like it. Okay. Oh, now, in her grand finale performance at the SDCERS annual meeting, which is very important to all of us, our Deputy CEO, Marcel Voorhees-Rossmann.
Thank you for that. And I am just retiring. It's not like I'm disappearing forever, but I am retiring. Looking forward to joining all of you on the other side of the podium next year. So Greg talked about the changes SDCERS has made to strengthen the plan after the crisis in the early 2000s. I'm going to expand on that a little bit and talk about how our actuary helps us with monitoring our pension health and adjusting where needed. And I'm going to give you an update on the unwinding of Prop B. So this is one of our favorite pictures. If you haven't seen it before, I'll be surprised because we do love showing this. It is actually from, I believe it's 1965 from Harvard Business Review. Maybe it's earlier than that. So this is a picture of what a pension system looks like. So you've got, each year our actuary performs an analysis or an actuarial evaluation on the plan, reporting back on our assets, our liabilities, and our progress towards 100% funding. It's a snapshot in time that puts the numbers to this picture. So this image shows a tank that you can see. That tank is the liabilities, or what we owe to all of our members. So that's the full amount that we owe to our members. The green portion, which I love because it's green and it's the money, that's the assets we have. So that's how much money we have to pay the benefits that we owe to everybody. Now, Greg talked about the sources of the money for that. So you've got, on the upper right-hand corner, you've got a yellow spigot. That's our investment returns coming in. Remember, Greg said that funds more than 50% of your benefit. On the left, there's two blue pipes. One of them is for employee contributions. Those are the contributions you all made from your paychecks when you were still employed, or if you are still employed by the city. That's to fund each year, that year of service that you're earning. There's also a blue one for employer contributions, and that is the city paying for your 1 year of service, but it's also the city, the port, and the airport making up the difference between that green assets and the full tank. Because remember, the goal is to have that tank completely full. Then we've got some outflows. We've got the big red one on the bottom, and that's the benefits. So those are the benefits that you're being paid. That's what we're using that money for. And then the smaller one on the left is your administrative expenses, and that is your SDCERS team here. So the valuation each year calculates the size of the tank, estimates the yellow, the investment returns, and then determines what the blue pipes need to look like so that we can pay for your benefits. It also calculates a funding ratio, and that funding ratio is comparing the money, the green part, to the liabilities. So as of the most recent valuation, which was June 30, 2020, the city had 76% of the funds it needed for your benefit security. Airport had 95.4%, and the port was at 79.9%. All three plan sponsors are on a path to full funding, to having that be a completely full tank for our retirees. Now, in addition to the annual valuation, every 3 years, SDCERS actuary does what we call an experience study. And what they're doing then is they're looking at all of the assumptions that have been used to calculate the funding ratio, the income that's needed, and they're determining if there are any tweaks that need to be made to that. So we're starting off with, this includes economic assumptions. That's the discount rate or the assumed earnings rate of 6.5% that Greg talked about briefly. There's also price inflation, wage inflation, and cost of living increases. So those are the economic assumptions they look at each time they do an experience study. They also look at demographic assumptions, and those are the things that are about all of you. When are you going to die? Fortunately, the last 2 experience studies showed that you are all living longer. This one showed that we're holding steady, so that's good. It also looks at when are you going to retire? Some of us are retiring in just a couple months. Some of you may have retired quite some time ago. So it's estimating when our members are going to retire. It looks at when you're going to separate service. Are you going to terminate and not retire and maybe delay your retirement? It looks at the likelihood that you're going to get a disability retirement. Salary merit increases are included in that. And then there's some other miscellaneous pieces that are less impactful, which are you going to be married when you retire? Did you establish reciprocity during your working career? So the most recent experience study went to the SDCERS board in September of 2023, so just a month ago, and all of the recommendations were adopted. Now, most of these recommendations were minor adjustments, little tweaks to those. There was one fairly significant change, and that was about the cost of living adjustment. So that is that maximum of 2% that you can get every July 1. For a number of years, it was not hitting 2%, and the actuary had recommended that that assumption get lowered to 1.9%. Things are looking up. It's been 2% for a while, so they're recommending going back to a 2% assumption on that. So all of these changes that were recommended and adopted by the SDCERS board will be included in the June 30, 2023 evaluation that they're working on right now. It will result in updated member contributions percentages for all City of San Diego members and for the Port and Airport PEPR members. So they'll have new contribution rates come next July 1. It also resulted in an increase in the payments that we made by our 3 plan sponsors. So the City of San Diego, their annual payment will go up about 5%. The Ports is going to go up about 4%, and the Airports is going to go up about 7%. I'm going to switch gears here now and talk about the unwinding of Proposition B. I'm going to go through a lot of dates in the slides, so bear with me as we go through these, but it's been a lot has happened. So Proposition B was the ballot initiative that closed SDCERS to all new hires except for sworn police officers. It was on the ballot in June of 2012 and was passed by the voters and became law in July of 2012. Very important to note, SDCERS was not part of the initial ballot proposal, and we were not part of the litigation that ensued to unwind Prop B. We're there to support the city in their efforts, but we were not part of this. Interestingly enough, the challenges to Prop B started in February of 2012. So it wasn't even on the ballot till June of 2012, but there was already litigation regarding it in February before that. During this time period, SDCERS worked hard to keep our board and our members advised of what was going on. We had regular presentations to our board, as we continue to have, and we had a number of articles on our website. The final challenges to Prop B were resolved in April of 2021. At that point, court said you need to unwind Prop B. So the City of San Diego in July of 2021 opened the plan to newly hired employees. So those were all, anyone who was newly hired after July of 2021 went back into the pension system. In July of 22, all of the existing employees who'd been hired during Prop B were able to join the system. Negotiations have completed for what we call the Phase 3 people. These are the people that were hired during the Prop B years, so were not able to join the pension system, but they've separated service. They've gone off somewhere else, and there are about 2,000 of them. So the city's concluded negotiations with the unions on how to handle their ability to purchase that time, and the city, SDCERS, and the SDCERS actuary are working very closely to get that information out to them. So, what happened? Since the plan was completely reopened in July of 2022, we had about 3,500 employees join the system. Those were people that were currently employed by the City of San Diego. We've also had about 2,300 newly hired employees join the system, averaging a little over 80 a month. So that's since they opened it to new members. We also recognize that we have a fiduciary duty to make sure this plan is funded. So now you've got all these people coming in with past service. What did we do? Well, the employees those 3,500 employees who joined the system, they made up all those contributions they should have been making by transferring money from the SPSBH, defined contribution plan they'd been contributing to. So that took care of their funding. Now we still have the city needed to pay their portion, and so they did that for the fiscal year 22 and the fiscal year 23 expenses. They did that in February of 23 this year. So that was about $37.5 million that the city gave to SDCERS to make up for the cost of those years of service for those employees. Now remember, there's that difference between the green water and the full tank. That's the unfunded liability. That's about $119 million for these 3,500 people. So that went to our board, our actuary presented to our board and said, here are some viable solutions in January of this year of how you can get that funded. And they gave them several solutions. The board adopted one, which is having the city pay that over the next 20 years. They picked 20 years because 20 years is about the working life of those 3,500 people. So when we talked about all those different funding objectives, this is the one where we're talking about having people pay for the benefits as they're earning them. So the city's started paying July 1st of 23, $10.8 million a year to SDCERS on top of their regular contributions to fund these 3,500 members. So how does this impact you as members and retirees? It really doesn't. It does not impact your benefit security. That's the good news I want you to hear. So each member pays for their own benefits. When you're making your contributions, you are funding your benefits. The money you're contributing is not being used to pay your neighbor's benefits, nor is their money being used to pay for your benefits. So adding more people to the system just means more people paying their own way, which we saw when those 3,500 employees transferred funds in. What about the plan sponsors? So Prop B was a really significant event for the city of San Diego, but it did not impact the airport and the port. They were not part of the litigation. They're considered 3 separate plans. Their funds are 3 separate buckets. So port funds are not used to fund city employee benefits. City funds aren't used to fund airport member benefits. The funds are all combined together to invest, but they are accounted for separately. So there was no impact to the port or the airport on this. So overall, SDCERS is in good financial shape. You saw that the funding ratios are looking good. Everybody's making their contributions. I've talked a lot today about that blue spigot, those 2 employer-employer contributions. We're going to have some more pension trivia right now, and then Karina Coleman, our Chief Investment Officer, is going to talk more about the yellow spigot, which is the investments that are coming in.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcel. All right. Approximately how many new members joined SDCERS last July? I didn't even get it finished. 3,500. Excellent. Okay, did anybody else know the answer? Because Demetrius, Anders. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I see a couple hands. Gentleman in the hat, Demetrius. Other side of the aisle, gentleman in the blue plaid. No one should be cheated from their candy. Danny, up in front. We have plenty of time. If anybody wants to come sit closer, you come on up. Anders. I'm sorry, Demetrius. This is Danny, and he needs his candy. Thank you. You are awesome. Thank you for paying attention. Okay, I hope you like that piece of candy. What? Oh, okay. Okay, ready? Okay. In what year was the first law creating retirement benefits for public employees passed? Actually read a book about this.
1857.
Okay. Over here. Good job. Did you see? I think it's front row right here. Tick-tock, lunchtime coming. There's actually a lot of books about it. It's so interesting if you are into reading about pensions. Okay, what is the average SDCERS annual pension benefit as of this year? So what's the average amount you think the average retiree makes? B? I know the answer. Wrong. It's 60,000.
Wow.
Cost, I don't know, cost of living adjustments, good things like that, right? Trying to keep up with this crazy world. Everybody got their 2% last year. Yeah, interesting facts. There you go. Okay. Next question. Who's our next speaker? I present to you our Chief Investment Officer, Karina Coleman.
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you everyone for being here. So, building on the theme of nurturing the seeds of retirement, this slide really spoke to me because when you stop and think about it, investing is a lot like tending to a field in the amount of the daily care and diligence that is required to produce a bountiful return. Not all investments will bear fruit, which is why it's so important to diversify. And some years are better than others, which is why it's important to focus on long-term results. So last year, I presented at the annual meeting and I told you all that the total fund had outperformed its policy benchmark by 391 basis points, or nearly 4%. That was last year. Exactly, that's coming. So the reasons for last year's outperformance, just as a reminder, were that we were overweight private equity and we were also benefited by investments in the Opportunity Fund as public markets sold off, if you recall, in 2022. So this year, I am reporting that the total fund returned negative 235 basis points versus its benchmark, posted, however, a positive 5.2%, and it lagged the benchmark return of about 7.6%, as you can see there. And the reasons are largely the same as they were for last year, almost the exact opposite in the sense that the overweight to private equity hurt us as public markets returned and rebounded the equity markets, and investments within the Opportunity Fund detracted value as its benchmark, which was 78% in global equity, performed very strongly. So it's almost the flip of last year's story. I think it's important here to pause and reflect on the bigger picture, which is that since inception, the total fund has outperformed its policy benchmark, as well as the actuarial rate of return. The policy benchmark captures our strategic asset allocation, which is 78% to return-seeking assets and 22% to risk-mitigating assets. It is a custom benchmark that accounts for the amount of assets invested in each asset class and our expected return for the asset class. Sorry. The market environment over the past year has definitely been volatile, and there's been uneven performance. If you look at developed equities, they had a strong rebound, while emerging market equities posted a more meager return. In fixed income, across the curve, returns were negative, and long duration fixed income underperformed short duration as the Fed continued to hike rates. The pace of inflation moderated year over year from over 9% June of 22 to about 3% June of 23. But it still remained high. In terms of our portfolio, on the public market side, non-US equity and global equity outperformed their respective benchmarks, while fixed income investments lagged modestly. And on the private market side, real assets, both real estate and infrastructure encompassed there, did reasonably well on a relative perspective, and these were led by investments in the infrastructure. But when we look at private equity and opportunity fund investments, those portfolios underperformed their asset class benchmarks. So when we unpack the attribution for the year, we see that we have these negative 235 basis points of underperformance, and that 96 basis points are coming from allocation effect. So essentially tilting away from our strategic asset allocation, underweights or overweights to various asset classes. So that accounted for about 1% of the negative 2.35% of return. The rest was largely negative selection effect, or essentially underperformance within the specific asset classes to their benchmarks. And again, this was largely driven by investments within private equity and the opportunity fund. I'm going to take a moment here and look at longer term results. So it's really important that we think about the amount of risk we're taking when generating our returns. And we like to look at this in terms of the Sharpe ratio, which is a metric that measures the efficiency of risk-taking within the portfolio. And here we see that in SDCERS case, we do have very attractive risk-adjusted returns. You can see that we have generally much lower standard deviation than peers, and in this case, the peers are considered to be all public plans with greater than $1 billion in assets. And what this translates into when we plot our returns and our standard deviation is that we have very attractive Sharpe ratios. So on a 3-year, SDCERS landed in the 17th percentile, so that's top quintile result. On a 5-year, we were 22nd percentile, so that means we were in the top quartile of these plans, and there was quite a population here. You can see that was about 73 plans on the 5-year number. For the 10-year, we were in the top quintile. We were the 12th percentile, or just short of the top decile in terms of this population. So I think it's important that even if we have a difficult year, that we recognize that on a longer term basis, we are performing very well against our benchmarks on a risk-adjusted basis. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cynthia for some more pension trivia.
Thank you, Capson. Thank you, Karina. All right, we ready? What was SDCERS' final investment return for fiscal year 2023? Okay. 5.2. 5.2. Candy for trying here. There's a couple up here. Thank you. It's always for the long term. Always for the long term. Okay. What was the approximate value of the SDCERS trust fund at the end of this fiscal year? Anybody know? How much is this trust fund worth? A lot. 10.6 billion. I like to round up to 11 when I'm talking to my friends. Did anybody guess somewhere close to that? All right, more candy for me. Okay, which most accurately describes the risk allocation of SDCERS investment portfolio? We got all these combinations of return seeking, risk reducing. A? I heard a C. I heard A. Okay. It's A. Yay. Got a big winner up front here. I like it. She pays attention. Good job. Excellent work. Okay. Yay. Okay. Here it is. Hi, Cynthia Queen here. I'm going to give you a little ending part. So let's talk about our modern world. We have amazing technology available to us, and new technology brings with it customer service advantages and security challenges. So in the good old days, a thief could steal your paper retirement check from the mailbox, forge a signature, and run off with your money. Nowadays, a thief could try to hack into your email account and try to steal your personal information so they could pose as you online and access your financial accounts. That's why you hear so much about electronic data breaches. But smart humans keep up with these changes. That means SDCERS and all other government and private agencies and companies must spend time, money, and effort to implement all the security features required to protect your personal information to the best extent possible and be vigilant every second of the day. SDCERS does that, and I will tell you how. First, we've made data security a top priority for many years. We have a comprehensive security framework in place, constantly auditing our systems, and we drill for emergency situations. Cyber criminals use computer networks to access a person's confidential financial information, but because SDCERS uses extremely secure technology and constant monitoring of our systems, we have thwarted thousands of cyber hacking attempts. We follow the recommended action from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, ensure best practices are in place, and we apply our values of professionalism and integrity 24 hours a day, every day. We have weekly penetration scans of our public application by the Department of Homeland Security and an external security vendor. We are immediately alerted of any immediate risks identified by central government agencies. And in addition, we also hire an outside expert vendor to perform an annual penetration test of the SDCERS network. And this scope includes a scan of all the systems and devices connected to our network to identify any security vulnerabilities that could cause a risk so they can be remediated immediately. And the final report from this vendor stated that the SDCERS network is extremely secure. And for our extremely secure online member portal, the registration process is robust. We enforce multi-factor authentication into our network at all entry points. You are highly encouraged to create a member portal account if you don't already have one. It's easier for a cyber criminal to create a new account than to hack into an existing one. And if you're not tech savvy, ask a family member or a friend to assist you. Also, you can call our office and we would be glad to assist you to the best of our ability without giving away the confidential answers. Because if you call our office, we're going to ask you several questions to be absolutely certain that we have confirmed your identity before we provide you with any information. We want to make absolutely certain that it's you, and it's very important to us to take care of your information. And even though we've taken every precaution, we also have our emergency disaster recovery plan and a data breach response plan in place. And as I said, we do practice and drill in this. And did you know that California law requires a business or state agency to notify any residents whose unencrypted personal information has been acquired by an unauthorized person? So everybody's working to keep up with everything else, and I want you to feel very good about how we're taking care of everything. SDCERS has a fiduciary agreement with each of our 26,000 members. We will take the very best care of your money and your financial information, and you will respond when we contact you. We are required to tell you certain information, and so we want to let you know what's going on with your account. We want you to know, of course, how SDCERS is doing. That's why we have you here. So we purposely send you letters when the changes are made on the portal for security aspects, and we do want you to respond to us. And we are supposed to have your current address and contact information, and that is very important. So please do keep your information updated. I know that in my 15 years at SDCERS, we've worked hard to provide top quality customer service, and many, many enhancements have been implemented. As I keep saying, I highly encourage you to register and utilize our secure online member portal, because once you've registered, you can securely access your account anytime, and there's a lot of great information there. Now, I want you to know that our office, we're still downtown. We did move to the 8th floor. And if you want to come see us in person, I want you to just make sure you know what the hours are, call and check, or make an appointment. And our website is always up to date with that. For city retirees with questions on health coverage, please look online or call us at 619-525-3600. It's on the back of your program for today. And you can call us any business day, and we will help you. That we answer the phones all day. But if you want to speak with a health representative in person at the office, we do ask that you make an appointment with the staff on a Tuesday or a Thursday, because there's limited staff, and we want to make sure that someone is there to help you. This is a picture of downtown from outside my office window. How many of you not to be too nosy, but maybe live downtown or work downtown or go downtown a lot? Okay, if you go down there, you know what's going on. If you haven't been there lately, just give yourself an extra few minutes. There's a lot of construction. I was trying to catch all the cement trucks and dirt trucks going there together, but that is at the corner of our office. And we just want to make sure that we get you the information in the easiest way. So if you call ahead, maybe it's just something we could email you or mail to you. And if you want to come visit us, just please be aware of the traffic situation there. Now, I'm a people person. And members come to our office every day for retirement appointments, and it is awesome. I love it. And I just want to remind everybody to just make sure they plan ahead. We do have parking in our building, and I still find people sometimes, they run 5 blocks, and they're like, whew, and I'm like, you know, I could park here. So just, you know, I want it to be easy on you. I want it to be a happy experience. Because I want retirement to be happy. Yay. So let's take a look at our public website. Most everything you want to know can be found here. If you're trying to plan for your future, I want you to check out the Resources tab. We've got a summary of all the plan tiers. You can just search by your plan sponsor and hire date. And I know we have a number of retirees here today. You can also view, we have frequently asked questions and fact sheets on every topic you can think of. And for Troy over there in the corner and some other folks who are happily looking forward to a future retirement, we have all the information you needed for your retirement appointment. Have it all very wired. And I know there's some folks here who also have some further questions on city health and open enrollment. We also have a whole section specialized for that. Now, looking at the secure member portal feature, it's just like your bank account, credit card, or investment accounts. We implemented a secure online portal to enable you to access your information easily. So you just go to the website, click on the member portal, and then follow the steps to register. Of course, keep track of your account information and password like you do for your other accounts. And just please note that our member portal uses numerous layers of security protocols. And one of them is that we utilize a company called White Hat Security, shown there at the bottom, which tries to break into our portal all the time to make sure that top-notch security is in place. Now, once you've registered, you can view a lot of information, and you can conduct some transactions. Now, your portal account is made directly for you, just like you have your own account. So your portal menu varies by your member status, such as if you're retired or actively working. For those not yet retired, we have a fantastic tool where you can estimate your future pension benefit. I want you to know this data pulls directly from our system with your own member account, so it is an excellent planning tool. You can do numerous different things. There are some folks getting raises, and so you can increase your salary to see what that would look like for the future pension and play with some different scenarios. It's a very useful tool. For our members who are already retired, the member portal is where you access your monthly pension payment details. And I want to emphasize that this is the most secure way to receive your payment information and also a prudent use of the SDCERS Trust Fund, and we take our fiduciary duty to you very seriously. We're kind of coming up on tax season after we get through a few more seasons here. But it's an important part of our member portal is to have your tax reporting information. We work very hard every year to get those 1099s processed and out to you as quickly as possible every year. And we also provide all the forms on the member portal in case anyone needs easy access that way. Now, planning for the remainder of life is part of retirement, right? And that is accountability to our loved ones. So I encourage you to inform your family of the beneficiary details of your pension, and it is easily accessible under the beneficiary tool. Okay, now, this is called the annual supplemental benefit. Don't say it, but that's the one we're talking about. Yes, that thing. Yes, yes. I want to be clear. This additional. You've got this. President Kaufman told you earlier that the annual supplemental benefit and Corbett settlement will be recommended to be paid this year to those who are eligible. On the member portal, we have the full history. Honestly, I love this part. People used to call us sometimes, and now I'm like, look here. We can give it to you so easily. So I do think that's useful for people for future planning and looking what is at the past there. We make every effort towards transparency. That's why that's there. So I encourage you to look at that. Now, yay, pension trivia. Okay. Why should you have an SDCERS member portal account? We've got a couple choices. Oh, yay. Excellent. Yes. Lots of good stuff there. Thank you for utilizing it. We got more of our front row stars here. Yep, over here. I wish this thing could shoot candy at you. Here you go, Helen. Danny. There you go. Okay, I got another number question. I'm looking over here. Approximately how many people are currently members of SDCERS? 26,000. Yes. 26,000 strong. That's right. Okay. Yay. Lots of candy on that one. Okay. Now, why must SDCERS staff confirm your identity before providing you with any information? I totally want to know you. Are we going to lunch after? So nobody steals your information. So, you know, taking good care of you guys, want to take good care of you. Now, one other thing, just really quickly, while we're getting the rest of our candy here, is I need Joe Flynn to come up real quick to the podium. Right here, Joe's going to come up super quick. Joe? And then Marcel, would you mind just stepping out over here? Just thought it was perfect to have Joe, who's been with us for so long, to celebrate with Marcel. And Joe's going to say something super quick here.
Okay.
You don't have to. You can if you want. I know. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Of course, yes, I told Greg earlier that it was with mixed emotions that I witnessed Michelle's retirement. Hate to lose her from the board, but we're so happy to have her on the retirement side. She will be of infinite assistance to us. And for Michelle, I would like to leave you with an Irish blessing. Say, may all your skies be blue ones. May all your friends be true. And for now and ever after, may all your dreams come true.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. Thank you.
Great job. Okay, thank you all. It is a big deal to us that Marcel is moving on. So thank you all so much. Now, I want to, this is wrapping it up here. I do want to remind you that next week, on Wednesday, November 1st, is a retiree health information fair that is put on by SDPIBA, who works closely with the retiree groups. And it will be, Marcel, is it in this room right here? It is in this room right here, yes. From 10 to 12, at 10 o'clock, yes. Thank you, Chris. I'm ad-libbing here. And the vendors will be here, and it's a great opportunity for you. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that. November 1st. You should have received a postcard in the mail. Just want to make sure you know about that. Now, that concludes our program. I want to remind you of the ways that you can reach us. That information is also in your program. And if you do have some additional questions, we'd be glad to hang out for a little bit and answer your questions. Thank you all so much for coming. It was really great to see you today.